How's everybody doing? Welcome to an episode of Madden Daily Drops. Today, we're talking about part two when it comes down to gameplay. I got Clint Oldenburg, one of our game designers, here in the studio. And you know what? We decided we're not even bringing out Man of the People to start this out because we have so much to cover that we're just going to jump right into it. Not just that, but, I think there was some feedback that, you guys wanted to hear more information from that deep dive blog that we did 2 weeks ago. And Clint's going to go ahead and walk through some of that here shortly. So again, one of the things that when I was reading that blog, I noticed that there are three kind of creative pillars that the team has had when it really focuses based on the player feedback, and that is to make NFL stars feel like stars. Not only that, but the other thing was kind of build unique playbooks and a new NFL strategy, which we'll talk a little bit about that here on stream. And last but not least, also kind of create more immersive moments in the game and a more polished experience. So you guys have really been working on that. We'll talk a little bit more about that throughout the stream. So, in the blog, there was a lot that was there that we could not cover. So I would love for you to kind of walk through like maybe 5 to 7 things that we didn't cover in our stream, but was covered in the deep dive blog. But I want you to speak a little more to it if you don't mind.
Sure. So the first place we're going to start, we're going to recap the Superstar X Factors. We want to go there because we covered that a lot last time. We just want to do a quick recap. You can read all about that on the website, on the previous blog. But Superstar X Factors, these guys are an elite group of players. They have superstar abilities. Those are going to be available to make these players feel unique and powerful. They have X Factor abilities you can get when you're in the zone. Those are through in-game objectives. What's the most important thing that I want to pass along here are these things are built through authenticity. And there's been a lot of time and care put into making sure that they are balanced. And they're there to balance gameplay out more by making the star players stand out from everybody else. So that's the main thing I want to review
for sure
on that point. Now we can move into the other stuff. So let's get into some of the gameplay improvements that we did not get a chance to talk about last time. We want to start with pass trajectories. So we did a lot of work at tuning pass trajectories. What we really wanted to try to do was get a little bit more lift on the ball. Because our ball has ball physics, that means the ball is going to be a little bit slower. Now that means the ball is going to be higher but take a little longer to get there in general. However, what's very important to note from that blog is we want to hear your feedback. Once you get your hands on it, we want to continue to fine-tune that to what you guys are seeing out there. So make sure you're giving us your feedback. We can continue to perfect that thing after you guys play it. So pass trajectory is really important. We want to stay in the passing realm. We want to talk about the new pump fake mechanic. This is something that's going to be really important for you guys to note out there for a couple of reasons. Number one, the medium pass or touch pass mechanic that you're used to the last couple of years being on double tap is now going to be moved back to press and release where it was prior to, I want to say, Madden 15, roughly. Double tap is now the pump fake mechanic by default in game, so you can double tap a specific receiver to pump fake to that receiver, or even use it as a throw canceling mechanic. If you want to change your mind mid-throw, you can pull that ball down. What this is going to do is allow you to occasionally get a defender either on the defensive line who's rushing to jump up in the air and try to bat a pass down on a pump fake, or during a double move route, there will be a very tight and small timing window where you can get that defensive back to bite on the double move and gain a little separation with the pump fake. What's even cooler is a player like Big Ben Roethlisberger has a superstar ability around the pump fake, and his pump fake is going to be a little bit more lethal than everybody else's. So be aware of that. A nice new gameplay mechanic there. Next, passing game again. Limits on lurking linebackers. We spent a lot of time looking at this area of the game, and what was important feedback that we got from a lot of our community was it was really tough to trust your eyes when you're making reads in the passing game. It was hard to see an open receiver and then get intercepted by a player much shallower than that player on the field, than the intended receiver. So the way that we're going to start the year in Madden 20 is linebackers and defensive linemen, when they're dropping into coverage, they're not going to be able to play jumping catches or spectacular catches in the air when they're nowhere near the landing spot. So think of, 10 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards in front of the intended receiver. You're going to see those players reach up in the air and try to get the catch, but they're going to fail at catching the ball, and it's going to go over their head, and you will get some in-game feedback via our new on-field trainer system. You will get some in-game feedback that says out of reach to let you know that you had a player that was unable to jump for that pass. So that's one of those examples of making the game more balanced. We want to open up the passing game a little more and give a little bit more realistic defense towards the passing game. Next on the list, we refactored QB pressure penalties. We again, we're looking at the balance of the game and when looking at the NFL and watching football, you notice that the impact that pressure has on quarterbacks has a very big impact on the outcome of football games and the outcome of each play. And that was something that we felt like we were missing, especially in terms of getting pass rushers up the field towards the quarterback. So now you're going to see a lot of superstar abilities focused on putting more pressure on the quarterbacks, both from an engaged state and a non-engaged state. And you're also going to see quarterbacks who have a really high throw under pressure rating be a lot more valuable because they're going to be able to resist that pressure a lot more frequently than a lower rated player. So pressure is going to have an impact on throwing power and throwing accuracy. And the really nice thing about this system is you're going to be told what's going on the field with our new in-game feedback. The passing feedback has been added to a lot more polish. In terms of detail, you're going to see a lot more detail about what's going on the field. You're going to see exactly what happened in that situation when you had pressure, heavy pressure, when you resisted pressure. You're going to know why the pass went where it went relative to the defensive lineman. And then lastly, I want to cover rushed get-ups. Now, that term sounds a little odd, so I want to explain that a little bit. It's animation technology that we were able to work on this year. When a player gets a ball and he's on the ground, oftentimes in the past he would get up slowly like the play was over. We did a lot of work to make sure players are aware that the play is still live, they haven't been touched down. They're going to hurry up and get off the field. Important note here is offensive linemen, when they pick up a fumble, they are not going to use rush get up, so they're still going to get up slower off the ground. But everybody else on the field will be able to use those get ups and be more aware of the situation in the game. I think that those are the big beats. There's plenty more in that blog, so make sure you go check that out. But those are the ones that we really wanted to call out today.
Awesome. Well, I know in that spirit, talking about fast to fun, and kind of getting players to kind of get more involved in the game. Can you talk a little bit about that, like that immersive experience in game, those immersive moments that they'll see in Madden 20?
Sure. So fast to fun quite simply means we want more fun per minute. We want our players playing the game more and watching the game less. With this came a few changes in terms of our presentation. Presentation in post-play and pre-play is going to be a little bit shorter. You're going to notice after the play is going to be cut a little bit shorter unless there's something really cool to show, like a celebration. During the play, you are going to notice a streamlined experience from play call to line of scrimmage. This applies to no huddle as well. What you're going to see is a, how do I want to word this? You're going to see a shortened presentation experience. So you're no longer going to see players getting aligned out of the huddle, breaking the huddle and going to the line of scrimmage. You're going to see them immediately at the line of scrimmage. We've standardized all of the time so that both the offense and defense is going to have the exact same amount of time to make adjustments before the play. And then the accelerated clock is always going to take off the amount of time it would have taken the player furthest away from his formation position to get aligned. So you're going to see the clock accelerate, whether you have the setting on or off, no matter what, to make up for those times that you otherwise would have been watching them get set at the line. I know that sounds really dense, but hopefully that makes sense to all you guys out there.
It's great. I think a lot of people that come out to EA Play will kind of get to see that experience. What's great about it, I think at the end of the day, at first when I started playing, it was a little jarring at first, but the more I played it, I started to realize, like, this is great. I'm actually, I call my play, I'm good to go. Let's, it kept the game moving, which was a great experience for me overall. You talked a little bit about the new on-field trainer. Can you elaborate a little bit about that? I mean, I know it's a feedback system, but can you give some more information?
Yeah, there's two parts of on-field trainer. So the first part is really how we want to onboard, ramp, and teach our players how to play Madden. That's the true iteration of on-field trainer, and that's going to give players dynamic tips on in-game mechanics and how to do certain things in the game. What's really cool about the on-field trainer portion of this is it's dynamic to your habits. So once you've shown mastery in certain skills, it's going to stop showing you those things, and then it's going to show you other more advanced things to learn. And then the second part of that is in-game feedback. It's going to look the same. You're going to see the same iconography in the game and the same type of visuals, but it's giving you feedback about what's happening in the game. So you're going to get your catching feedback, your pass rush feedback via that system rather than different buttons and different kinds of text showing up over the screen like we had in Madden 19.
Got it. It's
more cohesive and it's easier to understand. So that's a pretty nice improvement for us in terms of getting more information to our players about what's happening on the field.
Yeah, so are there going to be any updates to the play call screen this year?
Yeah, there is going to be a few updates to the play call screen. Great question. This guy's been playing the game. So we were looking at making a more cohesive experience with play call and our X Factor Superstar players. So you're going to see some iconography in the play books telling you which superstar players are the featured player on that play. Let's say a primary receiver. Antonio Brown's your primary receiver. You're going to be told that. You're going to see what his X factor ability is. And that should help steer you towards using the plays if you want to get those players involved and get them the ball.
That's great stuff. Now, Clint, we're going to go ahead and jump over to the segment with Anthony White. But before we go, is there anything else you want to share, anything that we missed regarding, superstar X factor abilities, zone abilities, anything that's pressing on your mind that you really want to emphasize to the community out there?
No, I think we covered everything today. We tried to get it out quickly. I don't want to take too much time away from Anthony. This guy's a really great gameplay designer, and he's got news about RPOs to share, which I know that our players are really excited about, so let's get him to that.
No, that's great. Awesome. Well, again, Clint, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to go ahead and get Anthony White on stream.
That's all, folks.